I read multiple times theory around why the short sellers have not covered yet into AMC and potentially might be working or might be controlling this whole situation with the help of the government. Why? Because of the whole capital gains tax hike, which is coming. Because remember, a couple of months ago, the current administration here in the US under President Biden proposed to double pretty much the capital gains tax. Meaning the money you have to pay back, you have to give, not pay back, give to Uncle Sam when you make money in the stock market. All right. So we're talking about putting these from 20% on the low end, on the high ends of the fork to almost 40%. Again, depending on your income, taxable income, and your filing status. But for what they're trying to accomplish here, they want to actually bring this up to almost 40%. That's 100%, guys. So it means if you make $1 million into your AMC play, into your AMC investment, you are going to pay back $200,000 under the current situation. But if this moves along, then you have to pay $400,000. That's 40%. Whew. Man, just thinking about it, I already have headaches. So the big question here around this theory is maybe the government, it's kind of controlling this thing and not allowing the short sellers to actually cover, because in order to finance some of the $1 trillion program that they have for the next 4 years, next 8, 12 years, they're gonna look and seek for money wherever they can get it. They're gonna try to scramble for as much money as possible, because it will help support the programs that they have, especially given the fact that each program have to be negotiated with the other side, so the House and the Senate. So that was what is kind of fueling this whole theory. And in this video, I want to actually give my opinion and ask for your opinion if you really think this is something worth exploring, or even thinking about giving it a little bit of weight. Because for sure, capital gains, it's something we have to take into consideration, especially after the most, right? Especially after the squeeze. But the thing is, when it comes back to the whole controlling piece of this whole thing, well, I will say, first of all, on capital gains, you have long-term capital gains and you have short-term capital gains. And when I kind of, go through that difference, it doesn't make quite sense that this whole theory will hold. Why? Because it will be more interesting for the government to make sure the short squeeze and the morass happens now, because some people or some investors into AMC who are still under the short-term capital gain may be paying a higher tax rate on those gains, where for some of the OGs, that are still here, at some time, it will be on the long-term capital gain, which goes from 0, 15, and 20%. All right. So given the fact that most of the core apes in AMC have been here since January, that gives us what? 9, 10 months since then. So we are still on the short-term capital gains. So it might be a little bit true. Yeah, let me backtrack what I said earlier. It might be a theory that stands a little bit, or that's worth exploring. Why? Because up until you have more than 12 months or more than a year holding a stock, then you are still under the short capital gains tax rates. So it might make sense in a way. And maybe some people are saying that is also why the Fed is not actually doing anything up to this point, because they are still waiting when it's going to be the right time to have as much money as possible. But there is something with this theory that is a little bit not holding the line. Why? Because it will make sense for them to make sure that the squeeze happens before December, right? To have as much money as possible. And I don't think, depending on the market circumstances, depending on whatever, depending on the amount of money that the shorts are paying here to sustain those positions, to be honest with you, nobody knows if December the short squeeze will happen or no. But to think that the government has kind of, control over this thing because of the whole capital gains, they're gonna attract based on the most, not so sure. So you let me know. Maybe I'm wrong, but you let me know what you think.